For as long as people have been trying to sell things, retailers have been looking for new ways to market their goods. This week, a new experience at Dick's in Roblox. I'm not the target audience, but I'm going to try it anyway. Plus, we've got a new smaller store pilot from Best Buy, plus retailer and brand partnerships. We're going to talk about Toys R Us and Macy's, Lalo and West Elm and Nordstrom and Allbirds and some more. And that's right now on Everything We Know About Retail. That's right. It is the show where we tell you everything we know about retail. We broadcast live on the internet most Thursdays at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. But you can find us whenever you want to find us on the internet. Go to everythingweknow.show, and that'll take you to all of our archived shows right there on YouTube. So my name is James Cook. I'm coming to you live from Indiana, and
my name is Keisha Virtue, coming to you live from Boca Raton, Florida. We both research retail and real estate for JLL.
that's
Yeah,
right. So Keisha, you're in the co-host spot this week.
that's
Now,
right.
I recognize now it looks like you're in the home office and you are, but you do have a coworker there with you today, right?
I do have a coworker who is very, very busy with iPad things right now. So we'll
All
see if
right.
she checks in with us later.
We'll see how busy she stays on the iPad. She is an honorary researcher at
Absolutely.
JLL, and when she gets a little bit older, we're going to send her out and have her research retail experiences.
For sure. I think she'd do a great job covering Target.
Yeah, right.
So, James, what do you know about retail?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Keisha. First today, Dick's Sporting Goods has launched a new Roblox experience. So off the bat, what's your Roblox experience? You're not a Roblox player, are you?
I'm not, but my nephew Joshua is really into Roblox. He's created his own games, in fact.
Okay. So that is the cool thing about Roblox. And I'm going to be playing some video of my own experiences yesterday in
Awesome.
Roblox. And not my first time in Roblox. I've done it a couple of times with my nephews. They set me up. But so Roblox is a online game platform. And what is cool about it is users can create their own games. Of course, brands or companies can create games too. Dick's created School of Sport, which is kind of a virtual world with a series of challenges, quests, and obstacle courses, all within the setting of high school. So it's kind of like a back to school thing, like let's get into high school. Um, I would say from playing it though, I don't think the target audience is really high school students. I think it's elementary
Middle
and middle
school.
school students, sort
Yeah,
of, like when you're younger and you read those young adult books about like what it's like to be in high school,
exactly.
you kind of imagine what it's like. Well, it's like going to Dick's Sporting Goods High, home of the Wildcats.
Awesome. Wow.
So yeah, the whole theme is back to school. You start in a locker room. Each player or student has their own locker. So you can earn virtual points. See here, this is me collecting coins.
Yeah.
You can use them to buy virtual clothing, shoes, apparel, accessories. There's also some stickers that you can collect. You can also get virtual school supplies that you can personalize. And the other thing too is there is a social aspect to it. So as you're walking around, you're seeing other players and you can interact with them and say like, I don't know, like what time's your study hall or what time's your lunch period? I don't know.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So
S- Did you
yeah, go ahead.
when you were playing the Dix game, did you play any challenges?
Yeah, so there's a whole series of challenges, and that's the other way where you can um earn points is by playing games. So I tried the football challenge, which I should say I'm not a football player in real life, but I was like, all right, whatever. So basically, it's pretty basic. There's a little uh, thing that moves back and forth here. Is the score multiplier, and you try to hit stop and get as high of a score multiplier as you can. And
Oh.
then you're trying to throw a ball to your team member. And so you can see people on your team are the Dick's Sporting Goods colors, which I guess is green and yellow. Is that right? So tried a couple of times, was not successful.
Oh, James, you got to up your football game.
I know. And there's other things that I didn't get a chance to do. We had that football field. You saw me walking through the hallway. There's also a gymnasium. There's an outdoor cafeteria. There's also a hidden environment that I didn't find, but of course I didn't look that hard. And there's a lot of different obstacle courses you can do in little mini games. So it seems like a lot of fun. It seems like if you were a kid, you could spend a couple hours there kind of fooling around. It's part of the Sport Your Style campaign, which is their new marketing campaign. So a lot of, television commercials, or where else you put commercials these days, YouTube.
Yeah, social media.
Which is all, it's a back to school campaign, encouraging, the commercial I saw was, encouraging different teens to express their own individual styles by, purchasing, different shoes and accessories at Dick's.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this is actually Dick's first metaverse experience, although tons of other brands are doing metaverse experiences. And just as a quick aside, a lot of people are going to have qualms with me calling Roblox the metaverse because it's not an open platform. It's not on the blockchain, which is a lot of people say that has to make it metaverse. But for me, metaverse, just virtual worlds.
Yeah.
We're just keeping it simple. So Roblox has been home to a bunch of different metaverse stuff, not just James running around track and field with the Dick's Wildcats. Chipotle did, I don't know if we talked about this before, but Chipotle had the burrito Halloween Roblox
I
experience
feel like I
last
would have
Halloween.
remembered if we did that.
Whatever happens with Chipotle this Halloween, I'm in it now that I'm a Roblox pro.
Exactly.
I'm gonna check it out. And Keisha, what's so interesting is this genre of adver games, so advertisement video games, actually goes back to the 80s. Like these have been around.
Really?
Yeah, right. These have been around for a long time. But currently, it seems like everybody's on Roblox. You got
Yeah.
Kellogg's, Fruit Loops World, it seems like all the luxury players. You got a Gucci World, a Ralph Lauren, a Tommy Hilfiger, and the other big one everybody's been talking about a lot is Nike Land, which I haven't checked out yet, but I'll tell you which one I want to do most, and I think we need to do it on this show, is PacSun has Pack World, where you virtually create and run your own mall.
That's pretty cool. It sounds like the Forever 21 example where you can open up your own Forever 21 shop and basically run it as a store, choosing inventory, hiring employees. I think that's really, really cool. Yeah, I think it's definitely something we need to check out and maybe do some sort of team building exercise around either PacSun or Forever 21.
Yeah. Well, have you played Roblox? You got a Roblox account set up yet?
No, but clearly this is something I'm going to have to take away from this experience. I'm going to go get my account and get my nephew to kind of tutor me through it.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy. And I picked it up, it's very simple. It's, walk, run, jump,
Yeah.
The games, there's a bazillion different kinds of games that you can play, but they're all pretty easy to catch on to.
Very cool, James. So why did Dick's choose to do a game on Roblox versus, say, another platform?
Yeah, and it's interesting because we spend so much time talking about Decentraland and Sandbox, like on this show, always. And we talk about it because those are places where you can actually buy, lease, and sell real estate. But Decentraland only has 300,000 active users. Sandbox only has 30,000 active users. Meanwhile, the big ones, Fortnite is a big one. They have 30 million active users. Roblox has over 37 million active users. So that's why you're on Roblox,
Yeah.
because that's where everybody is. And this particular experience is perfect for Roblox. I read a statistic that more than half of American kids under the age of 16 have a Roblox account. That's a
That's
lot.
incredible. That's
Wow.
a big
I
number.
wonder if that includes like young kids. Well, I
Well,
think that once you get ages, say, I don't know, 10, 11 to 14, it's probably much more than 50% of kids have
yeah,
Roblox.
I think that's definitely the target group for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, my take on this is that if you're a retailer and you want to make a true impact in whatever you're calling the metaverse, it's got to be in a place where the people are and
Right.
everybody's on video games. There's just not uh, just a critical mass of eyeballs in some of these other virtual worlds.
Makes
But
sense.
yeah, so we're gonna keep paying attention to what happens in Roblox. I also did play Fortnite for the first time last week,
Ooh,
also with my nephews. Have you played Fortnite at all?
I have not played Fortnite.
Well, you know, I'm just barely keeping up with the trends, and these trends are like years old now. But anyway, so Keisha, what do you know about retail?
Well, James, here's the second thing we know about retail. We're seeing a bump up in retailers joining forces, and we've got four recent examples to share with you. So let me go ahead,
All right, let's
get
do it.
started.
4
Okay,
partnerships. I love
let's,
it.
yeah. Firstly, Macy's is expanding its Toys R Us partnership to all of its stores. So last year, I believe they announced that they were going to start putting shop in shop Toys R Us concepts within some of its stores. And it's done so. The shops range from 1,000 to 10,000 square feet. And those larger sizes, the 10,000 square feet sizes, would be in their flagships, like in Atlanta or New York or even Miami. So maybe that's something I should check out with Kylie when I want to do a mini road trip. Um,
Is Kylie aware of the Toys R Us brand? Because it's been gone for a few years now.
it has. I mean, I guess as a baby, faintly, and we did have a Jeffrey giraffe in her nursery for a long time. So hopefully, she she should know about Jeffrey because she did ride it to death. So anyway, these shops will feature bold colors. They'll do like hands-on demo tables where they can play some of those games in the store, and there'll even be a photo op with Jeffrey, of course. So it makes total sense. And they're probably going to expand these shops by the holidays, so they'll take up more space to have more, gift selections and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. I think it's great for Macy's to brand themselves as a toy destination because,
Absolutely.
especially during the holidays, there's very few options. Like there used to be so many more toy stores. Um, so, kind of building something new in that space is awesome. Do you have a sense of whether this strategy has been working at all so far for Macy's?
Absolutely. So they announced this in-store concept last August, and it really seems to be working because in Q1, Macy's reported that toy sales were 15 times higher than the comparable period before the partnership. 15 times higher, James. So
That's a
I'm
lot.
really, yeah. I mean, with them expanding the concept to all of its stores, before the end of the year, I'm really interested to see what the holiday performance is going to be this year, especially compared to, the masters like Target and Walmart. So should be pretty interesting because, parents have this very, very fond memory and notion of Toys R Us. So we may see some traction there.
Yeah, I can't wait to check it out. I'm gonna go to my local Macy's, which is not a flagship, and just kind of check it out and see what they're doing there for the holidays.
Absolutely. I'm going to check it out as well and see just how big of a space it is for our local one as well. So, secondly, we have Lalo teaming up with West Elm. Sorry, Lalo. I keep mispronouncing it. Lalo teaming up with West Elm. Now, a couple months ago during the show, I talked about this baby product store, Lalo, because they just had this really cool, immersive in-store experience in New York called the Play Cafe, where you can, very hip, fancy parents can take their
Fancy
little
parents.
ones, fancy and hip. Um, they can take their young ones, they're like babies, 1 year old, 2 year olds, and they can host a play date. They can book space online to host a special play date at the Play Cafe or even host a birthday party. because they do that as well. So it's just, but as a parent, I can tell you when I was picking out products for Kylie, there's just so much plastic, and it gets to be a lot when you have a lot of stuff, right? So
Mhm.
it's really great when you see furniture that's wooden and just very clean lines and it's very pretty, so it doesn't really kill your decor, right? So I totally get it. I totally get why Lalo has been so successful. They've really been doing very well, and West Elm. It just makes sense for them to team up because West Elm, of course, also does a very modern feel, and they have West Elm Kids that they opened up maybe a couple years ago. So yeah, they're offering a couple different furniture options. Combo high chair, booster, and play chair, and a play table set. So I'm very interested to see if this is going to kind of expand with West Elm. I know they've done a lot of partnerships with, you know, DTC retailers before, like with the Lisa mattress and that sort of thing. So it should be interesting to see what goes on with them as
Awesome.
time goes on. And our third example is Walmart adding the prestige beauty retailer Space NK, which is a UK retailer, to stores. And the cool thing about this is that it seems like prestige beauty is really having its moment. Prestige beauty sales in Q2 was 12% higher than in the previous quarter. And for the first half of this year, it's almost doubled, since the same period last year. So really, because especially since consumers are heading back out, they're going out, they're, socializing, they want to look good. And that means more makeup, more beauty products. So definitely a smart move for Walmart. This is not cheap personal care. It's like the prices range from maybe $50 to 200. So it's a very interesting move for them. But I think it does make sense.
So that's interesting that the low end of something sold at Walmart is $50 because that's not a real Walmart price point, 50 to 200. Um,
Precisely.
Interesting strategy. So really trying to tap a different beauty shopper. Do you know, are there other beauty partnerships going on out there right now?
Yes, for sure. So Target partnered with Ulta last year, and they seem to be doing really well with that concept. So really think this is a space where we're going to see more partnerships, where these big boxes that are doing so well are more than category killers, multi-category killers. They're going to be adding some of these high-end stuff to kind of boost their space, make it definitely a more interesting place to shop for sure. So yeah, I totally get it.
That's awesome.
Our fourth example is Nordstrom, and they're doing two partnerships. They're partnering with both Allbirds and ASOS. So Nordstrom's partnership with Allbirds, which of course is the clicks to bricks shoe retailer that's so much the rage now, um, it's going to start out at 14 of its locations. And it does make sense from a value standpoint because Nordstrom is definitely pushing its sustainability move, and Allbirds is all about sustainability as well. So the two definitely work together. Nordstrom is actually aiming to have about 15% of its product assortment qualify for sustainable style by 2025. So this is a good partnership for them in that respect. If we're looking at the Nordstrom ASOS partnership, it's an interesting one. ASOS has been really pretty much online only prior to this. So it's going to start out at 10 of Nordstrom locations, including a really immersive, gigantic one at the Grove in LA. So this particular location will be two-story, it's 20,000 square feet, and it's going to feature a lot of experiential elements. So um, it's almost like a young adult incubator. They're going to do a lot of testing new concepts here, hot events. They're going to do flexible content creation spaces that they're going to change over time. So it really makes it a vibrant living space, which does seem to be definitely the way to go, especially if you're targeting younger adults like Gen Z. So a couple of examples of what they're trying to do here in this particular store is a sneaker cleaning service.
Love it. I need
Yeah,
it.
by some shoe cleaning brand called Jason Mark, I think. So for everybody who
Okay.
needs their fresh white kicks cleaned up so they
Yeah.
can keep them longer, this is the place to be. And also customization by lot, stock, and barrel, where you can get your clothes with custom, patching and chain stitching, monogramming. So just a couple of different things they're trying out now, and I'm sure there are going to be more partnerships and more events going forward that they're
Well,
going to work in.
Keisha, you really sold me. I'm actually the week after next, I'm taking a group of executives on a retail tour in Los Angeles. And I think we need to go to the Grove and check out this Nordstrom
Absolutely.
ASOS
Please,
activation.
yeah, please wear sneakers, James, and get them cleaned and take a video. So,
Well, I was gonna take them to the Americana at Brand because it has the new Amazon style store.
yeah,
I think we got to do both. I mean, we're
yeah,
doing a Caruso double header. Is what it sounds like.
it does. Yeah, it sounds pretty interesting. So, um, we'll stay tuned on that. So, James, what else do you know about retail?
Well, we know Best Buy is trying out a smaller store footprint. And Best Buy has actually been doing a whole experimental thing in Charlotte, North Carolina, where they're testing out kind of simultaneously a few different store models. So this new one opened last week in Monroe, North Carolina, and it is 5,000 square feet in size.
Ooh,
So you can see it is a tiny Best Buy. It's got inside a curated edit of sort of their best-selling items. They don't carry large appliances except for some TVs.
mm,
You can see on the screen, we're looking at the outside, there's a click and collect locker area. So you
nice.
can pick up online orders 24/7 in those lockers. You can also pick up orders inside. When they're open, they have a click and collect area inside. And then they also have the Geek Squad area. So it is really kind of like, hey, we're going to do the best of Best Buy, the Best Buy in a really small, concentrated 5,000 square feet.
It's very interesting. I mean, it does just sound like a small Best Buy, and Best Buy did experiment with smaller concepts before, maybe a few years ago. So, any you think about this particular iteration,
Yeah, so this is it. Good point. Yeah, there were like the Best Buy mobiles,
right?
which were kind of mobile, obviously mobile phone oriented. What makes this different? Well, one thing, and I mentioned it's interesting. I mentioned Amazon style. They are trying to do at this store a similar shopping experience. So a lot of the items are display only. So you
Got it.
won't see like I don't know, like a whole bunch of things. It's just the one item. You can test it out. They got the tester there. And then when you're ready to buy it, you scan it with your Best Buy app, and then you can go pick it up in their pickup area. Um, Interesting though that would require everybody to download a Best Buy app, though, wouldn't
Yes.
it?
And what I'm wondering is if you want to buy more than one thing, do you have to like scan and pay like separately for each thing? I wonder how they're going to work that out. But
Yeah, well, there's probably a quantity. I mean,
okay.
well, 9 times out of 10, I'm only buying one big TV, for example. But who knows? I need two TVs and one for each wall. They will have, there's like little things that you need. They will have those like grab and go items
Right.
that will be kind of in stock. But for those, you can really grab and go. You can pick it up, scan it, pay with your phone, and walk out the door.
Awesome.
Yeah. And the other thing that's interesting, they're piloting is this kind of live chat. If you like want to interact with an expert, you can use that same app to video chat with somebody, audio chat, talk to them, also known as a phone call or
Yeah.
text
There
back
you
and
go.
forth with them. Now they do have people that work there, the blue shirts
Blue
on
shirts, yeah.
site. But if you can't get with one of them, there is this other option. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this whole virtual thing, especially if you're in store. I want a human, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's just a great option. Like maybe you get hooked into this idea and then you start using it from home.
Exactly. That totally makes sense. Are there any other store models that they're testing out in Charlotte? Do you know?
Yeah, so it's funny, their website, they're very excited. They have like a map of the Charlotte region and they're like, we've got this
Whoa,
test here, this test here. It's like a whole web of experimentation. Really two thumbs up for that, Best Buy.
great.
I love not only that they're experimenting, but how transparent they are about it because me
Yeah,
as a researcher, I love to learn their strategy.
exactly.
Um, so some of the stores they're just doing small tweaks, but the big different stores, one is an outlet store. So it has discounted items, like open
Oh,
box
but
items, like
refurbished.
things,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that people return. It's got discounted items. It's got three things. It's got that. It's got a repair center. So an expanded, fix my iPhone, fix my computer, Geek Squad thing. And then they have a garage, like a big garage for auto technology. They call auto
Very,
tech
very smart.
installations.
Very
Yeah.
smart. So for all those cars that don't have Apple players, you can
Right,
retrofit
right.
it. Yeah.
And I remember back in the day, Best Buy was the place I would go when I was getting that aftermarket stereo installed in my well, I don't know, like I don't even know what year. I had a Chevy Cavalier. It was probably like a 2000 Chevy Cavalier that I had a Best Buy install a new CD player into.
Awesome.
But now I'm sure it's as much about video displays and all that
You're
different
right.
kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So that's one. That's called the outlet store, and then the other one is called an experiential store, and it really just sounds like a lot of what we were talking about with Nordstrom, which is just sort of rotating brand experiences from Amazon, Apple, Microsoft. I don't have a lot of details on those, but I can imagine, an expanded, all the different Amazon products being on display. And then they also have like a luxury appliance experience, a home theater experience, audio, fitness, and then also an expanded Geek Squad selection. It just sounds to me it's like a flagship store.
That
They're
sounds
calling it, yeah,
wonderful.
they're calling it an experiential store, but it's really just kind of like a flagship store.
I'm wondering if for the luxury appliance experience, you can like start cooking on one of their ranges because I would go for that for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that is, it's interesting you bring that up, Keisha, because I have been toying with the idea of getting an induction
Oh, nice.
stove.
Yeah.
We have an original, the original stove that it came with this house and was built in the 90s, so it's really old. The stove is, and I'm like, someday, when the stove
Yeah.
dies, I'm gonna get a new one. And I actually tested out an induction stove when we were staying in an Airbnb.
Ooh.
But I would have loved to have tried it out, at a Best Buy. Have you tried one?
I have not, but I
They
think it's
boil
really
water
smart
like
to them.
that. They're so
Wow.
fast. They're so energy inefficient. Energy efficient.
Efficient. Yeah.
I am a huge fan of them. Very cool.
I think it totally makes sense now because when it just came out, there weren't a lot of pans that necessarily worked with them, but now everybody's designing for it. So
Oh
it's a good time.
yeah. Yeah, great point. And hot tip, if you want to know if a pan will work on an induction stove, if a magnet will stick to it. That's how you can
Exactly.
tell.
Yeah. Very
Um,
cool.
so Keisha, we've traveled around the US looking at some new retail experiences, but are you ready for a little bit of a retail challenge?
Man alive, James. It's been a while since I've done a retail challenge. I can't wait.
All right. Well, it's time for your retail challenge, Keisha. So we've got three questions. You're going to get a point per question. If you get 2 out of 3 right, we'll say you won the retail challenge.
I'm
How's
looking
that
forward to
sound?
it. I need a special badge, yeah, if I win.
Or should we give you a This is actually a tough one this week. So we're going to say if you get 1 out of 3.
One right. I like it. Yeah.
Okay.
Great on the curve.
And if you are watching live, you can play along with us. Just type your answers in the comments. If you are the first person to get the correct answer in the chat, you'll win the eternal admiration of your peers. You'll win some virtual item. I don't know. Yeah, you just can say you're the first. So, anyway, you ready to go, Keisha?
I'm ready.
All right. So, the theme this week is advergames because
Ooh.
we talked about Roblox. We talked about all of the different advertising gaming experiences that were created in Roblox. So, Keisha, the first adver game was all the way back in 1983. So, was it Tapper by Anheuser-Busch?
Hmm.
Was it Penny Popper by J.C. Penney? Or was it Disney Dash, created to promote what at the time was relatively new Disney World?
Hmm.
What was the first adver game in
Wow.
1983?
That's a really tough one. Definitely tough. Trying to think where Disney was in their whole scheme of things back
Right.
then. Okay, I'm going to go with Disney Dash.
You're going with Disney Dash.
Hmm.
The correct answer is actually Tapper.
Oh,
Tapper,
wow.
sponsored by Anheuser-Busch. Did you ever play Tapper? Do you remember that?
No, I don't
The,
think. Was that Atari? Because there was not a lot of stuff out at that point.
right. It was on, well, I had it on what would have been an Apple II. But it was on all the platforms.
Okay.
Basically, the game was, and they also had it at the arcade. That's
Oh,
actually where the
okay.
first time I saw it. Basically, what happens is there's different bars, and there's a bartender throwing beers down, and you have to grab the beer. So you're just jumping around and grabbing beers.
Wait, that does
Uh,
sound vaguely familiar now.
Funny thing is, played the game a lot, had the game, had no memory that it was advertising Anheuser-Busch. So
Yeah,
for that reason, also funny, I think of it
that
as a kid's game, and it was advertised by
exactly,
a beer
exactly.
company.
That's the thing. 80s was a very different time, I'm telling you.
All right. So Keisha, after round one, we had one question and you have 0
0
points.
points. Okay, gotta do better.
But you're going to bring it back right now because we've got question number 2. So now we're going to move to 1996.
Okay.
A cereal company created a non-violent first-person shooter in 1996. Was that cereal game called Cheerio Blast, Chex Quest, or Frosted Flake Quake?
Oh my gosh. Non-violent shooter game, huh?
Yeah, it's a first person shooter where I imagine you're throwing one of these
Zero.
cereals. Do you
I'm
eat
gonna
any of these? Are you a fan of any of these?
um no, not
Mm-mm.
really. I think I may have eaten some Frosted Flakes in the 80s, but not very much. I'm going to go with Frosted Flake Quake because they have this young mascot. It seems to be more towards young kids.
Yeah, you would think so. The answer is actually Chex Quest,
Never would have guessed that.
which not a really a kid cereal, but maybe they were
No.
trying to appeal to kids. It's like, hey kids, you like a corn square or a wheat square? um, it was the video game Doom, which
Oh,
was
okay.
very
Yes. Yes,
popular.
that was popular.
They did a total conversion of Doom and
Wow.
created Chex Quest, and it was actually considered, according to Wikipedia anyway, at the time, it was actually a good game to play. And
Really?
one of the things about I didn't really go into is most of these adver games are not considered good games because they're being created, for advertising. But I would say though that Tapper was a great game. I played that all the time. So maybe those are the two good adver games.
Do you drink that brand now? The
The
beer?
beer?
Yeah.
Bush? No.
Okay. I was thinking there's some sort of, you know,
No.
unconscious effect now.
Anheuser-Busch though owns a lot of beer
Okay.
brands, like even more than I remember. So I'm sure some of them I drink, but did it work for marketing for me?
No,
No.
it just
No.
okay.
Also, as a kid, went to Busch Gardens. I
Oh,
don't know if
okay.
you went because you guys have Busch Gardens in Florida, right?
Yeah. Oh, I was still in Jamaica at the time. I really only went to Disney, which was
Oh, okay.
good enough.
But went to Busch Gardens a lot as a kid in Virginia and never became a Busch drinker. So, none of that.
No,
All right, we've got one more
one
example.
more
We're
chance.
gonna move all the way, and this is your last chance to win the retail challenge,
Gotta do
Keisha.
something here. Yeah.
So we're gonna play a game called Pepsi Man.
Oh.
Pepsi Man from 1999. I believe this game was out of Japan.
Hmm.
So, what was the object of Pepsi Man? Did you knock the cans out of people's hands? Like if somebody had a Coke can, you knocked it out of their hand and replaced it with a Pepsi can. That's one.
Okay.
2, did you shake up a bottle of Pepsi and then shoot it at your attacker? Or 3, did you avoid obstacles in order to bring dehydrated people a can of Pepsi.
Wow.
What was the object of Pepsi Man? What do you think?
I think it's A, replace Coke can with Pepsi. There's been this rivalry forever, and I'm really hoping this is the correct answer.
Keisha, I'm afraid that's not correct. It was actually avoid obstacles and
Seriously?
bring dehydrated people a can of
Oh
Pepsi,
my gosh.
which is hilarious because if you're really dehydrated, what do you want? Water. Or maybe Gatorade. Do you want a fizzy cola drink? Well, whatever. If you're thirsty, you'll take whatever.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so after 3 questions, you have 0 points. So
0. I
I'm
mean,
afraid,
oh,
Keisha, you didn't win this week's retail challenge, which actually is a badge of honor. Because I think
yeah.
if you'd known all of these, I would have been like, "What are you doing over there, Keisha?"
I know. I mean, my vast Nintendo and Sega and PC experience, somehow I managed to avoid all the ads. So good for my parents, I guess.
Yeah. Do you notice, because you have a young daughter, do you notice any advertising kind of seeping into things that she likes to consume regularly?
I feel like the Barbie game she plays on the iPad does have some sort of branding.
Yeah,
Um,
Barbie.
of course. Well, I mean, like brand yeah, Barbie. I don't know if there's any kind of sub branding going on under
Oh, there
that. But yeah.
probably is.
So yeah, definitely.
All
It
right.
is
Well,
perfect.
it looks like we got a hand clap. I guess that was a hand clap
For
for
Barbie.
not winning the retail challenge. Um, well, does your daughter say buy me Barbie? Is that a big thing that she wants you to buy her Barbie dolls?
Mermaid Barbie specifically. Yes.
Oh, is there a mermaid in the Barbie game?
I don't think there is. I'm not sure if there's any, sometimes they have the mermaid costumes that they can wear in the pool. I've never seen that, even though she has been asking for that lately. So maybe I need to check a little closer to see if there's that
Gotcha.
going on. Yeah.
All right. So I want to tell everybody out there to get our new back to school report that Keisha wrote. It's on JLL.com. If you go to the Trends and Insights section, you can download it. If you listen to NPR, you probably heard Keisha talk about this report on National Public Radio yesterday. Awesome. It
Thank
was
you.
so funny, Keisha, because you told me that you talked to the reporter for 15 minutes. And what did they use?
Yeah.
Like a 20-second clip?
I want to say it's my 15 seconds of NPR fame. So
What
gonna go with
was
that.
what was that like? That's on my bucket list. I've been in a few national publications and on different radio, but never anything like never NPR. So what was that like?
It was great. The reporter was fantastic to talk to. She was really, really easy. Asked some really good questions about the report. It just felt really quite natural and organic talking to her. So I'm glad I was able to contribute some wisdom and knowledge to the whole back to school story.
That's awesome. So if you want to hear all of or read all of Keisha's wisdom and knowledge, go to JLL.com and download the new report. We also have some great new episodes of Where We Buy coming out. That's our audio podcast. Sometimes I pull audio from this show, but a lot of it is for only for Where We Buy. Just did some great interviews. Maker Kitchens, which is a virtual ghost kitchen chain that's expanding. Just talked to them. Also did an interview with Meredith Darnell at Brookfield Retail. Both of those are coming out. Brookfield owns some really iconic retail stuff like in downtown New York, for example. They have I think it's called Brookfield Place, which is kind of the iconic shopping. So we get into a lot of their partnering with direct to consumer brands and bringing them in to kind of revitalize shopping centers. So go on your favorite podcast app, make sure you're subscribed to Where We Buy, or go to wherewebuy.show.
Also, you can hit the subscribe button in YouTube. And you can click on the bell icon so that you're notified when new shows come out.
And if you're watching us on LinkedIn, follow JLL Retail on LinkedIn. That's where we come live every week. And Way to go, Keisha, for being on NPR. That's awesome.
Thank you.
We love it when our researchers get national recognition. It's so cool. And Keisha, you've been all over the place. Was it this year you were on Jeopardy?
Last year, it does
Last
feel.
year.
Yeah.
So yeah, these have been your years for recognition. That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
we're going to be back next week. New episodes every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern. So Keisha, I've got to ask you, what did we learn about retail today?
Well, I learned I better get a Roblox account really quickly and start playing some games, particularly at the Forever 21 store or PacSun Mall. That sounds fascinating.
And I learned about a new Nordstrom brand activation that I need to go to at the Grove. And it is, oh no, what's the brand called? I'm blanking.
ASOS.
Is it ASOS? Is that
Yeah.
Nordstrom? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So if you want to know more of everything we know about retail, you can join us here again next week.